Hey everyone, I'm Jason, and this is your commentary on Numbers chapter 26. This chapter is 65 verses long, and if you're only going to be with me for part of it, listen to the first 4 verses, and you'll understand why. The entire chapter is about a census of the people, and so God gives the command for the census, and then he goes through and he lists them off name by name and gives the count for all of them. You don't have to stick with me for that entire part, but just know that it's there for a reason. After the plague, the Lord spoke to Moses and Eleazar the priest. Eleazar was the son of Aaron. The Lord said, "Count all the men of Israel. Make a list of them by their families. Count all the men who are able to serve in Israel's army. They must be 20 years old or more." At that time, the Israelites were on the plains of Moab. They were by the Jordan River, across from Jericho. Moses and Eleazar, the priest, spoke with them. They said, "Count all the men 20 years old or more. Do it just as the Lord commanded Moses." He wants a count because they're going to be militant. They're going to need to invade soon. So they want to know who's capable of going into battle. And that's why the appropriate age was 20. Anyone younger would not be recruited, and there were people who were definitely older who would not be included. But this is how many Israelites are actually able to fight. You don't need to know every single name. It's not really the point, the specific names, not for us at least. The most important thing to take away from here is that there are individual names. God knows them name by name. He knows them by their numbers and exactly how many there were. To God, this is all important. And in here, it shows that it's a historical document. It is accurate because they have the names that you can go back to and look them up. Even though we don't need to know exactly what they are, the fact that this is not just a made-up story, but a real story with real people, that's what's most important about it. Now, if you stick with me, you get to hear me kind of muddle through all these names. So let's try that together. Here are the men of Israel who came out of Egypt. Reuben was Israel's oldest son. Here are the names of his sons. The Hanokite family came from Hanok. The Peluite family came from Pelu. The Hezronite family came from Hezron. The Carmite family came from Carmi. These were the families of Reuben. The numbers of men was 43,730. Eliab was the son of Pelu. Eliab's sons were Nemuel, Dathan, Abiram. Dathan and Abiram were the same community officials who refused to obey Moses and Aaron. They were among the followers of Korah who refused to obey the Lord. The ground opened its mouth. It swallowed them up along with Korah. The followers of Korah died when fire burned up 250 men. Their deaths were a warning to the rest of Israel. But the family line of Korah didn't die out completely. Here are the names of Simeon's sons. They are listed by their families. The Nemuelite family came from Nemuel. The Jaminite family came from Jamin. The Jachinite family came from Jachin. The Zerahite family came from Zerah. The Shaulite family came from Shaul. These were the families of Simeon. The number of men counted was 22,200. Here are the names of Gad's sons. They are listed by their families. The Zephonite family came from Zephon. The Haggite family came from Haggai. The Shunite family came from Shunai. The Oznite family came from Ozni. The Erite family came from Eri. The Arodite family came from Arodai. The Arelite family came from Areli. These were the families of Gad. The number of the men counted was 40,500. And Onan were sons of Judah, but they died in Canaan. Here are the names of Judah's sons. They are listed by their families. The Shelonite family came from Shelah. The Perizzite family came from Perez. The Zerahite family came from Zerah. Here are the names of the sons of Perez. The Hezronite family came from Hezron. The Hamulite family came from Hamuel. These were the families of Judah. The number of the men counted was 76,500. Here are the names of Issachar's sons. They are listed by their families. The Tolate family came from Tola. The Puite family came from Pua. The Jashubite family came from Jashub. The Shamronite family came from Shamron. These were the families of Issachar. The name of the men counted was 64,300. Here are the names of Zebulun's sons. They are listed by their families. The Seredite family came from Sered. The Elonite family came from Elon. The Jahalelite family came from Jahaleel. These were the families of Zebulun. The number of men counted was 60,500. Here are the names of Joseph's sons. They are listed by their families. The families came from Manasseh and Ephraim, the sons of Joseph. Here are the names of Manasseh's sons. The Machirite family came from Machir. Machir was the father of Gilead. The Gileadite family came from Gilead. Here are the names of Gilead's sons. The Izerite family came from Izir. Helikite family came from Helik. The Asurielite family came from Asuriel. The Shechemite family came from Shechem. The Shemadaite family came from Shemadah. The Hepherite family came from Hepher. Zelophehad was the son of Hepher. Zelophehad didn't have any sons. All he had was daughters. Their names were Mahlah, Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the families of Manasseh. The number of men counted was 52,700. Here are the names of Ephraim's sons. They are listed by their families. The Shethulite family came from Shethullah. The Becherite family came from Becher. The Tahanite family came from Tahan. The sons of Shethullah were the Aaronite family. They came from Iran. These were the families of Ephraim. The number of men counted was 32,500. These were the sons of Joseph. They were listed by their families. Here are the names of Benjamin's sons. They are listed by their families. The Belate family was from Bela. The Ashbelite family came from Ashbel. The Ahiramite family came from Ahiram. The Shuphumite family came from Shupham. The Huphimite family came from Hupham. Belah's sons came from Ard and Naaman. Ardite family came from Ard, and the Naamite family came from Naaman. These were the families of Benjamin. The number of the men counted was 45,600. Here is the name of Dan's son. He is listed by his family. The Shuhumite family came from Shuhem. This was the family of Dan. All the men in Dan's family were Shuhumites. The number of men counted was 64,400. Here are the names of Asher's sons. They are listed by their families. The Imnite family came from Imnah. The Ishvite family came from Ishva. The Berite family came from Beriah. Here are the names of the families that came from Beriah's sons. The Heberite family came from Heber. The Malchilite family came from Malchiel. Asher also had a daughter named Sarah. These were the families of Asher. The number of men counted was 53,400. Here are the names of Naphtali's sons. They are listed by their families. The Jazalite family came from Jaziel. The Gunite family came from Guni. The Jezerite family came from Jezer. The Shilemite family came from Shilem. These were the families of Naphtali. The number of men counted was 45,400. The total number of the men of Israel was 601,730. Just want to point out that one family that's not represented here are the Levites. Also want to point out that if you made it this far through the video, then you're probably as dedicated to the scripture as I am. And if you'd like to support us, we do have a Patreon link down below, a great way to join us in support of teaching the Bible simply. The Lord said to Moses, I will give the land to them. The amount of land each family receives will be based on the number of its men. Give a larger share to a larger family. Give a smaller share to a smaller family. Each family will receive its share based on the number of men listed in it. Be sure that you cast lots when you give out the land. What each family receives will be based on the number of men listed in its tribe. Cast lots when you give out each share. Cast lots for the larger and smaller families alike. Here are the names of the Levites. They are listed by their families. The Gershonite family came from Gershon. The Kohathite family came from Kohath. The Merarite family came from Merari. Here are the names of the other Levite families. They are the Libnite family, the Hebronite family, the Mahlite family, the Mushite family, and the Korite family. Amram came from the Korite family. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed. She was from the family line of Levi. She was born to the Levites in Egypt. Aaron, Moses, and his sister Miriam were born in the family line of Amram and Jochebed. Aaron was the father of Nadab and Abihu. He was also the father of Eleazar and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu made an offering to the Lord by using fire that wasn't allowed, so they died. The number of male Levites, a month old or more, was 23,000. They were listed along with the other men of Israel. That's because they didn't receive a share among them. These are the men counted by Moses and Eleazar the priest. At that time, the Israelites were on the plains of Moab. They were by the Jordan River across from Jericho. The men of Israel had been counted before in the Sinai desert by Moses and Aaron the priest, but not one of them was among the men counted this time. The Lord had told the Israelites at Kadesh Barnea that they would certainly die in the desert. Not one of them was left alive except Caleb and Joshua. Caleb was the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua was the son of Nun. In one of my previous videos, I said that I don't think God originally intended for them to be in the desert for 40 days. He may have known that they were going to be, but that wasn't his original purpose for them. It wasn't until they were questioning his ability to take them into the promised land that they had to then wander the desert for 40 years. And I think this kind of supports that, because he's taking a second census, military-wise, to see how many can actually go in and fight. And if God had resigned from the beginning that they should wander for 40 years, why would he take the census in the first place? We look at over 601,000 men who are ready to serve the military. That just goes to show you the breadth of the Israelite camp, because that's not counting those who are younger than 20, it's not counting those that are too old to fight. It's just looking at that pocket of men. Not only do you have even more than 601,000 when you include the other men, you also have almost double that when you count the number of women that were able as part of the Israelite camp as well. So you're looking at 1.2, 1.3 million people being led through the desert right up to the promised land. That's it for our commentary on Numbers chapter 26. Thank you so much for joining me and for staying to the very end. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.